What's up, you young punks? Welcome back to the Young Punk Shortcast, where we're having empowering conversation in a short amount of time so that way you can get back to your everyday life. I hope that you guys have had a great week. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for all your support on my social media, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, however you do it. If you happen to be here from my gaming streams, I appreciate you so much for supporting me on Twitch. We recently just reached a little bit over 1K over there, and you guys have been doing an amazing job just supporting me. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful, and I so love you guys so much. Today, we're going to get right into a little topic, and our topic is me versus you. Me versus you. And I want to talk about this because it seems like we live in a world that puts each other against one another. And that can be just in daily life and also Christian living as well. Here recently, I've seen a couple of examples, or if you just look at the world and how the world is now, there's a big thing on like this word cancel culture, or this phrase cancel culture, where if you don't agree with what someone does and you don't agree with their lifestyle and how they live, then you deserve to be canceled. I think a lot of times this comes in when we have misunderstanding as far as what feelings are and what acceptance is, right? I'm reminded of myself being a young kid or a teenager, and there were things that my parents did not enjoy that I did. And I'm sure if you're listening or you're watching this as well, that there are things that you have done in your life that people did not necessarily agree with. Think about it to yourself. Does that mean that they don't love you? Does that mean that they hate you or dislike you? I'm trying to break it down a little bit and take it nice and slowly, because I think in this episode, I really want us to really think and consider where some of these thoughts are coming from. Are they media led? Do we have the wrong circle or the wrong voices within us or around us that's telling us that these people or someone who disagrees with your lifestyle hates you or dislikes you? What happens when you may be someone who is in a situation where you're being told whatever you want to hear, and that situation of what they're telling you has now become your reality now? And you think that anybody who is speaking against that or saying anything that is against that is someone who is against you. Oftentimes we need people in our lives who think differently than us. Now, there's a difference between thinking differently than us and just because they're opposite, they just don't dislike what we got going on. But do we automatically, in those situations, jump to the conclusion that they're a hater? That they just trying to steal my shine? They just dislike what I have going on and they're envious and jealous and they want it for themselves? Or is it a matter of, hey, maybe they really are trying to help me have my best interest, and the people around me might not have the best interest that I actually think that they have because they're telling me whatever I want to hear? Do real people tell you whatever you want to hear? Do you real friends and family or your crew, your circle, will just watch you sink down in mud and never say anything to you? What if people just watched you drown? If you were out in the lake, right, and you didn't know how to swim, what if people just watched you drown and never said anything and just let you die slowly? Would you consider those people friends? It's a good question to ask. It's a good topic to think about. Because oftentimes when we get offended at someone else saying something about our current situation, a lot of times we're blinded by the situation or the world that we have created around us. A lot of times, even in our church houses, and this is one of my biggest pet peeves. Can I ask a question? Why are we preaching sermons that put other people against one another? Why are we preaching sermons about people being motivated by haters? Why are we preaching sermons that focus on the fleshly portion of someone else versus what's going on the inside and in their spirit? Doesn't the scripture say that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places? What happened to that scripture? Because now we're in a thing where we're preaching and we're talking to people directly to their flesh and no longer interested in feeding their spirit or having anyone look at things from a spiritual point of view. As a Christian man myself, what am I encouraging someone else to do? How am I encouraging someone else to look at a situation in their life where someone may be opposed to their lifestyle or someone may be opposed to the things that they're doing? Let's be real with it. We live in a generation now where we have, people, their sexuality is different. People can make choices about gender and sexuality, which is their right, I'm not going to be a Christian man and say, oh my God, you abomination. Because there's a lot of things that Christian people gloss over, but they love to bash gay folks in church. I'm just saying, man. But when God looks at sin, he looks at sin. No big sin, no little sin. He looks at all sin. Sin had just in a Christian standpoint of view, if you happen to be someone who is, maybe you're gay or you're transgender, or maybe you subscribe to the LGBTQ community, he looks at it from a spiritual standpoint. It's not one of hate, right? And there should be no Christian person that's out there ridiculing you based on hate. Right? Because we all have been graced by God, but we come to God through loving and kindness. Those two things are two words that you should see in every Christian person, loving and kindness. Because at one point, I was no better than anybody else. I came and said, and I was not a perfect person, right? I needed to be redeemed by Christ. Christian people, how are we handling this day and age? People who may assume a different role or maybe a different religion or a different identity. How are you taken when someone does not agree with your lifestyle? Do you automatically say that this person is against me and this person hates me? Or can you see that, hey, we just disagree on this subject. We just disagree on this title. I don't think you hate me or anything like that. We just disagree. Disagreement sometimes is okay, but hate is not. Hate will brew other things from that situation. Hate keeps enviousness in our heart. It builds anger in our heart as well towards our brother and our sister. Think about it today. What's in your heart? Are you pit up against someone else right now in your life? What's motivating you? One phrase I never understood. I never understood why people say, let your haters be your motivators. Why would you let somebody who doesn't want to see you do well, who has no care for you in your life, be the motivation of why you're doing well? What about the people who live with you every single day? What about the people, your kids that you wake up to every single morning and put a smile on your face? What about that being your motivation instead of worrying about somebody else who could give 2 cents about you? What is this culture and what is this identity that we've accepted to make everyone around us haters or crazy or untrusting? What has the world done to us? Why has the world separated us in this way? And why have we accepted it willingly? How did this happen? At one point in time when I was young, I could depend on one of my neighbors to be able to go over one of their houses or something like that. And if I got locked out of the house or I left my key or whatever it is, I could go. My mom and my parents could depend on me going to one of my neighbor's houses or one of my friends' homes and things of that nature. Isn't it interesting that just over a few simple years, that from that we went to everyone around you is crazy and no one can be trusted? You drive through a neighborhood and there's no kids playing outside anymore. We live in a culture of fear of not really foreign threats, but fear from each other. Fear of walking outside of the door, the person at the gas station, the person at the grocery store. We just live in constant fear. Has God called us, you and me, has he called us to live in that fear? Or has he given us an opportunity to live an abundant life, free from fear and full of faith? Hope that you guys love this portion of this podcast. Make sure you drop a like and comment, subscribe on my YouTube channel if this blessed you, and if you just have time to do so. If you happen to be listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I'm so grateful for you. Just giving a second to listen to my voice wherever you may be right now. Remember to love one another. Don't put yourself against someone else. Don't hold hate on your heart just because someone may live a different life. Remember that one day you possibly lived a different life and you need a grace for your situation. This is our Young Punk cast for today. Hope that you guys have an amazing week. Take on the day like you mean it. I'll catch you Young Punks later.
Hey, yo, it's the BerSerKerr. And this man is going crazy. Show me the beef and I become so cannibalistic. Eat it up and spit it out. So I hope you care to visit. Papa strings and please don't miss it. Proud that I do the dishes. I be chopping all that grass while I shower her with kisses. Who that is? Who that be? That's my wife. I call her Mrs. Show